Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Taisho Alice, and we are going to start the Wizard's route today. And so, I just want to say, like, I was trying to figure out, like, okay, you start, and, like, in the first game, I think, after you cleared Cinderella's route, when you went to start, it brings you to the mirror. This brings you back in to the same scenario with Alice, right? And I was like, we've already read this. Why can't I skip it? So I hit control. I skipped all the way through. And then all of a sudden, it didn't give us a choice on the mirror. All of a sudden, it was like and I'm like, wait, what? This is different. I don't remember it being different when we did Gretel and Kaguya's routes. Like, but it is. So it says previously read for all this. I didn't actually read it. I literally hit the control button and skipped through it all because I didn't realize it was completely different. So I pulled up, so I've skipped through a little bit because the first couple of lines here are the same, but then it does change. Because I pulled up the one that we did for Snow White's route, and I'm skipping through, and I'm like, no, wait, this is different. I'm like, all right, so we have to read this. Okay. So, so we already got the achievement of getting through the wizards, cleared the introduction, which is this, because I didn't realize it was totally different, so now we're going to read it for the first time. So, again, these first few lines are the same, but suddenly you find yourself lost in a world of darkness. I just wasn't expecting that, because I remember from the first game after you played through this, you won't, but I guess each one's a little different. I swear the first one, it was like the exact same. Did I not read it and it shouldn't have been the same? But this one, we didn't even get a choice of the mirror. It just automatically goes into the wizard's route. But again, I swear in the first one, when you click start, it brings you to the mirror, like, who are you going to choose? And it skips this intro scene. Maybe because as the game goes on, you're getting weirder and weirder and things are changing. So, more's supposed to be coming out so that these scenarios do change, and maybe that first one it didn't. But, it's throwing me off. So, anyway. Where am I? I keep walking and walking, but I can't seem to find a single exit. It's so dark, I can't see a thing. Can't even tell how far I've walked or how much time has passed. No matter where you go, the scenery around you remains static and unchanging. It's like the darkness has consumed everything. All sense of direction, even the very concept of time itself. Were you to stand perfectly still and hold your breath, the only sound would be that of your own heartbeat. Hold on. Sneeze came out of nowhere. What am I doing here? Who am I? You can't remember a thing. Not even your own name. I can't remember anything. Alone in the dark, fear and loneliness overwhelms you. Hello? Is anyone there? If you're there, say something, please. I'm not talking to you, bird. No one's here. Was I always alone, or did I lose something along the way? I don't know. I don't know anything. You soon grow tired of walking, but something spurs you forward in spite of yourself. Maybe I'll find something just up ahead. Your morale is in tatters, and your legs are threatening to give out, but you press on regardless. Sorry, hold on again. I was a little sneezy this morning when I woke up, but I've been perfectly fine until I start to record. What the fuck? Anyway. Ah! What on earth? Out of nowhere, something seizes you by the leg, threatening to pull you down into its inky depths. Do you ever get that creepy deja vu feeling? Like at the end of Snow White's route, when we kept getting that creepy deja vu feeling and doing the same thing over and over? It's basically how this is right now. No! You struggle with all your might, refusing to let the shadows swallow you up. Stop it! Someone help! Who are you talking to? You! This is where it changes. Me? No thanks, I'll pass. You're a selfish, weak, pathetic fool, can't do anything on your own. Why should I help a sad, petty, spoiled creature who has nary a shred of courage nor confidence? What? Right now the darkness is trying to consume you. Do you know why that is? Because you have no self. You don't even know who you are, correct? I have a feeling we are Alice, and Alice is us, and we're just some kind of weird shit in his head. Because, he's very much hates us for some reason. Who are you? What's the matter? Can't even remember who you are? Well, I'm just me. Good grief. You're completely hopeless. Here, grab hold. Okay. We'll make a run for it. Right. I mean, we do run with him, but we don't have this conversation. You know what I mean? So. Phew. Do you think we're safe here? Wait, what the? Hi, what you doing, Birdie? Are you okay? Do I look okay to you? Not only did you run faster than me, you started dragging me along with you. I was supposed to be saving you. You Nimrod. Didn't anyone ever teach you how to stroke a man's ego? Oh, right. Wow, you were incredible. I am so impressed. Nah, it was nothing. Yeah, I see right through you, you snake. I know you expected me to buy your BS wholesale and get a big head about it, but it won't work because everything you said was so blatantly phony. I'm sorry, but I do appreciate you playing along. Huh. You're so damn condescending. Anyway, thanks for saving me. It's Alice. Alice? What a wonderful name. Say, do you know who I am? What, you think you're famous or something? Not only are you condescending, you're completely self-obsessed. How would I possibly know who you are? You don't? But back when the darkness attacked, you called me a selfish, weak, pathetic fool who can't do anything on my own and all that. Or were you not talking to me when you said that? Who knows? Not only that, but when you asked me, you don't know who you are, correct? You implied that you knew I had amnesia. Doesn't that mean you know more about me than I do? Yeah, I do. I knew it! You're such an airhead. One minute your life's in danger and the next you're practically laughing it off. Well, yeah, the crisis has been averted. Ever heard of out of the frying pan and into the fire? I don't see any fire around here. Besides, I've got you! You think I'm gonna save you? Typical fake feminist. You scream about how you hate gender roles, but the second it's inconvenient for you, you want them back. No, I don't expect you to save me. But as long as you're around, I have nothing to fear. Oh, and obviously, if you're ever in trouble, I'm happy to help you. And what if you're in trouble? I'd certainly appreciate it if you lent me a hand. It always comes back to that, doesn't it? Anyway, where are we? Do you know? How about you use your own brain for once instead of constantly relying on other people? Maybe we're in hell. It's so dark and empty, very dull. But then again, if it was actually hell, I wouldn't have met you. Are you sure? Because he seems like the kind of person that would end up there. You have a point. I don't know for sure, but at the very least, this doesn't feel like real life. If this isn't reality, then perhaps a dream is the next most realistic alternative. You know, like in Snow White's Route, we were in a dream. I'm just saying. I see what you did there. Seriously, though, I think I'm onto something here. Think about it. In a dream, suddenly the impossible is made possible, and anything can happen. So if this is my dream, does that mean you're just some fictional character my brain created? Or conversely, maybe you're the fictional character. Maybe we're both fictional characters, and this is some kind of weird game. Looks over at the screen. Creepy. Which dreamed it? You or me? Whoever doesn't wake up will disappear. Arisu. Who's that? You idiot! I'm tired of not having a name to call you by. Sounds like a lot like your name, though. See, that's why I think we're this Katakana Alice, Hiragana Alice, right? No, mine's English style. Yours is Japanese style. Ah, I see. Now follow me. Huh? Whoa! His is Katakana and ours is the Hiragana. I don't know which one is which. Katakana's for borrowed words, so I guess. Hand in hand, you wander through the darkness. Moments earlier, you were overwhelmed with fear, but now the warmth of his hand reassures you. So, where are we going? Thank you for helping me find my way. You're a good person, Alice. Yeah, I am. I'm the nicest guy I know. Really, I'm due for my Nobel Peace Prize any day now. Too bad I'm plagued by some imbecile who won't leave me alone. Now we just need to work on your attitude problem. And so the friendly conversation continues. Game is trolling us. No ground to walk on, no concept of time, no one else in sight, and yet, with Alice at your side, you don't miss any of it. You walk and walk and walk until there appears before you a giant looking glass. So, like, this is shorter. Whoa. Sugoi! Incredible. Is this a crystal? That's funny. I can see my reflection. Is this really me? Correct. That brainless, ditzy-looking frou-frou girl is you. What are you giggling about? Freaking me out. Are you that entertained by your own vapid appearance? Typical bimbo doesn't know how to use her brain. You know, Alice, I'm glad you're here with me. I beg your pardon. I have no memory of myself, so I wouldn't have known this was me. But with you around to show me who I am, I'm able to establish myself. Or rather, my self. They say recognizing yourself in a mirror is the first stage of self-awareness. It's the first way in which a human being is able to objectively view themselves. And we keep viewing all these other characters. They're all us. We're just some... Oh my god, are we gonna, like, wake up and be like, wow, I had a nice dream that I dated all these beautiful boys, but now I'm gonna go back to my lonely, boring life. Reality hits hard! Guess that makes you my mirror. Yeah, I guess it does. Do you think this mirror is a gateway to another world? Passing through the mirror into a different realm? Sounds like a fairy tale. What do you suppose this world beyond the looking glass is like? A mirror reflection of this one, obviously. So they're total opposites, like you and me. Yearning to travel to the other side, you reach out to the mirror. And suddenly it radiates a blinding light. We don't get to choose which boy we pick this time. Ugh! Oh, see, here he is. And he's dressed like the wizard. I don't think he's dressed like the wizard in his route, though. When the light fades, the mirror no longer reflects you, but someone else. Who is he? He's dressed entirely in black, like he's draped in all the world's darkness. Kind of the, like, impression we got in Snow's Bad Endings, huh? You prod the surface of the mirror with your finger, and it ripples like water. Looks like it'll let us through. Arisu. What's up? What are you planning to do? Escape from this world, obviously. Why? If this is a dream, then anything you do will be pointless. Maybe. Or maybe it's a lucid dream and I can control the outcome at will. And if that's the case, I'd like to try to brighten this place up a bit. You're honestly so self-centered. You don't even know if the person having this dream wants you to do that. Dreams are just that. Dreams. The more enjoyable it is, the sadder you'll be when you wake up. God, if that ain't true. So you think I should just shrug my shoulders and give up? Maybe the dreamer would be better off never waking up. I feel like are we learning a little bit about you, Alice? Look, I know I'm just some selfish frou-frou girl, like you said. But I want this dream to be so much fun that they wake up from it feeling warm and fuzzy. Besides, if I'm literally part of this dream right now, then that means my viewpoint is at least partially the dreamer's, too. I think we're an imagination inside of Alice's head. Because we keep talking about dreams and shit, and, like, Snow's world being a dream, and, like, the wizard and Alice were kind of together at the end, so, like, maybe we're just... Alice is like, maybe they don't want you to do this shit. Because Alice is like, no, don't leave me. He's trying to be, like, all standoffish and an asshole, but he's really dreaming about us. In his sad, dark loneliness. Maybe he's, like, a coma patient somewhere. I mean, think about it. If this is a dream, then you and I share the same consciousness. Point taking. Point taking? Point taken. Knowing you can make it happen, Arisu. Damn right I can. He's actually being nice. Together, you and Alice reach out to the mirror. Then you walk through the glass and jump down into the looking glass world. Whoop. And then I got to this and I was like, wait, what? What happened? So, you know, when I skipped through the whole intro, so that's why I went back. One day, as we were playing yet another game of chess, she said to me, okay, this is the wizard. Fun fact, when a girl falls in love, it changes her as a person. She gets all shy. I don't know the voice. I didn't look up. I'm so sorry. I did not look up the voice we gave to him. Wow. That, or sometimes she'll get more easily frustrated. Being in love makes you want to do anything and everything for that special person. Even if the whole world is against you, you still want to help them. Love is blind, as they say. Tunnel vision comes with the territory, yeah. Naturally, if you're going to turn the world against you, you have to be prepared for the consequences. You have to be strong enough to handle it. But love doesn't make you strong, just makes you desperate to the point that it changes you. So basically, you evolve. Yep. Sounds like a pawn. If a pawn reaches the opposing side, it can be promoted to a stronger piece. Right, keep charging forward and you can turn yourself into a rook, bishop, knight, or even a queen. This is a story about searching one's soul for the truth. And the protagonist is you. Me? Whose persona are we in now and it's all black around the edges? Come on, Mr. Huntsman. Are you seriously going to let him handle it? I don't trust him as far as I can throw him. Don't worry, I don't trust him either. Then what are we doing here? I don't remember Wolf's voice, but like, whatever. We don't have a choice. This is our job. Yeah, I get that, but like... Look, just because we can't trust him doesn't mean he's useless to us. He's a wizard, remember? Hello? Anybody home? I can't do Wolf's voice doing that. Oh my god. Wow, this is a train wreck. I'm so sorry. I hear you. The door's open, so come on in. Okay then, here goes nothing. Sorry for the intrusion. Does the wizard have a name or just wizard? Oh my god. I love him in a suit. And I love the fact that his jacket is like over his shoulders like a cape. It's so cute. I love him so much. I don't know if I'm going to like the route. Who knows? But I love him. Anyway. Welcome to Black Cat Investigations. Do you need a private eye? Whether it's adultery investigation, appraisal, analysis, or anything else, I'm your... Wait a minute. It's just Ryoshi and Wolf. Well, that's no fun. Gee, sorry we're so boring. To think I bothered bringing you a case at all. Let's get out of here, Wolf. Okie dokie. Oh, wait. At least let me pour you a drink. I'll take grape juice and a slice of cake. You drive a hard bargain. So what's the case? You know Spacey Arisu, yeah? I might. Let's just go, Wolf. Roger, Dodger. Oh, wait. I love him so much. Wizard and Kaguya were my favorites, so like, I'm gonna enjoy this, hopefully. I know her, okay? I know her. I realized we already read the wait part and all that. Anyway. We are, of course. Speaking of your sweet baby sister and the Princess of the Looking Glass world, correct? She ain't that sweet, pal. Okay, well, what about her? There hasn't been some kind of inheritance scandal, has there? And that's not far off. What? Who died? Nobody. Yet. So you're saying there's a possibility that someone will? You guessed it. Show 'em, Wolf. Righto! Here, take a look. What's this? Oh, open it. I'm getting confused with all the voices right now. Oh, okay. To Arisu, on the next full moon, I'll take your life. Only one thing will save you. Choose one of the 5 brothers to be your husband. Cinderella, Snow White, Red Riding Hood, Kaguya, or Gretel. So is one of them gonna kill me? Cause like the only other people in it is, well, Alice. Or the wizard. Or our brother or Wolf. So it could be anybody. I see it's made with cutout letters. The culprit must have had a lot of free time on his hands. That's it? For a blackmail letter, it's quite peculiar. Marry someone or I'll kill you? Usually it's the opposite. Yeah, for sure. It could have been read as an attempt to play Cupid. It could even be read as an attempt to play Cupid, sorry. And so they lived happily ever after. The end. And technically we've gone through all 5 of those routes. Interesting. They shouldn't have to hook up under the threat of death. Where's the consent, man? Good boy, Wolf. Perhaps our culprit is running out of patience. How come? Because Lady Arisu is yet to reach a happy ending with someone. Maybe the wizard is the one that wrote it, because I'm just saying, the wizard is the one that's always trying to get us like, oh, you made the wrong choice, you're going to have to go back and do your happy ending. Although, at the end of Snow's route, it made it seem like either we were the one who was giving him direction or Alice was, or we and Alice could be the same person, who knows. Maybe Alice's route is just finding happiness with ourselves. Huh, that makes no sense. Why would the blackmailer want Allie Sue to get hitched? That's what you want me to find out, correct? Precisely. Incidentally, who's my client? You, Ryoshi? You think I'd hire you? No, probably not. Your client's none other than the princess herself. Oh, interesting. She wants to hire me. What's she thinking? Beats me. If I knew how her mind worked, I could save us all a lot of hassle. She's not a normal person, trust me. But she's your sister. That's how I know. Oh, that's how I know. Okay, I was like, wow, I didn't read that right. So, what's the relationship between her and these 5 brothers? I thought you were supposed to know all about Spacey Arisu. I do, but I want to hear it from you. Just double-checking I have my facts straight, if that makes sense. Cinderella the oldest, Snow White the 2nd son, Red Riding Hood the 3rd son, Kaguya the 4th son, Gretel the 5th son. All of them looking-glass celebrities. It's going to be kind of interesting. Everybody's in this, and I'm kind of curious to see how it happens. Like, how they are. Currently, they live with my sister at my parents' house, the Arisu estate. They all live there? Wow. Oh, a reverse harem. I know. Oh, wait a minute. This is my harem route. Wizard, you have to move in with us too. Come on. What a sausage fest. Hey, you shut up and let me have my thing. See, the wizard's all excited about it. The wizard gets me. Like, aren't you worried, big brother? Not really. Tsundere. Wizard. The biggest tsundere ever. Ouch! Yeah! I'm not worried because she's engaged to every single one of them. What? Wow, this really is my harem route! Except for I'm gonna end up with the wizard. I had that same dream again. My name is Spacey Arisu, and I'm 19 years old. I live in a mansion with my 5 handsome fiancés. I cannot believe this! I love this already! Wizard, we just need you to come in here and be our 6th fiancé. We can't have Ryoshi because he's supposed to be our brother, but, like, I'm gonna guess in, like, if they ever translate the fandis that he's not our brother in that route, because that would be weird. Or he's our stepbrother and it's some kind of weird stepbrother thing. But we already kind of had that with Gretel. We already had the weird, what are you doing, stepbrother? Locking me in a cage and assaulting me. But this is my harem. I'm so happy, but then the wizard's going to take it away and I'm only going to level him it. So it's like, the game gave it to you and takes it away. It's okay, I love the wizards, so it's fine. Can I just keep them on the side, though? They have 1 husband and 5 boyfriends? Is that cool? Yeah? Awesome. Cinderella, the oldest. Snow White, the 2nd son. I can't believe Snow White's older than fucking Red Riding Hood. Doesn't seem right. Red Riding Hood, the 3rd son. Kaguya, the 4th son. And Gretel, the youngest. That makes sense. Snow White being being older than Red Riding Hood just seems odd to me, but I first met them about 1.5 years ago. At the time, I was living in another country, and I only knew of them through my brother's letters. My brother worked as a hunter in a small rural town I had visited several times previously. The 5 brothers were his patients. I remember wanting to run out and meet them straight away. It's funny because they say hunter, but they mean doctor. Is that, like, a weird, like, what? Like, what is that? Like, they're his patients. He's a hunter. But he's not a hunter. He's a doctor. Is that something that, like, in the final route, they're going to make this connection? You're going to be like, ah, guys, you know what I mean? Or is it something weird that in the whole game you're supposed to be like, why do we keep saying hunter instead of doctor? And then at the end, in the reveal, it's going to be like, okay, because it was like a dream. And for some reason in our dream, hunter equaled doctor, because dreams are fucking weird sometimes, you know, where you're like, this is my sister in your dream, but it's not your sister, but it is. You're like, everything about them you recognize as if it's your actual sibling, but they look totally different and they're nothing like your sibling in the dream. You know what I mean? Like, oh, Ryoshi's our brother, but then when we wake up, you're like, oh, he's my doctor, because I'm in a coma having a weird fever dream right now. But we see him as our brother, and we, for some reason in the dream, a hunter equals doctor, and it doesn't seem weird to us. But as, like, to us in the game. But, like, us playing is like, the fuck is happening? You know what I mean? Now I feel crazy. Anyway. I remember wanting to run out and meet them straight away. But we were divided by a vast ocean, so it wasn't that simple. Eventually, after persuading a lot of people and filling out a lot of paperwork, I finally made it to that town from my past. When I first met them, I didn't know how to feel about it. I was both happy and sad at the same time. I was happy to have met them, but I was also sad to have met them. You see, once upon a time, I had a crush. A crush on a boy I had met just once when I was little, the wizard. But he was a light in the darkness, and he helped me find myself. Well, that's Alice, though. So when I met the 5 brothers, I knew. They were probably lost in the darkness just as I had been. What the fuck is happening here? Are you as confused as I am? The brothers were really down on their luck. So I talked to my family and begged them to help. Fortunately, my parents were sympathetic to the brothers' plight. As it turned out, they had already taken measures of their own accord. Specifically, adoption paperwork, so they're like our stepbrothers, and we're engaged to all of them. This game is really... But you know what's weird? Because we're like, a boy we met once before, he was my light in the darkness, and that was kind of the way Alice starts in the thing, but then we're going to marry the wizard. This is starting out odd. Anyway, my father asked me if I wanted to bring them into our family. Since I'd be living in the same house as the 5 brothers, he wanted to give me the chance to decline. At this, I was slightly disappointed. Surely he wouldn't expect me to decline after coming all the way here. It would make sense if he had given me the final say. Yet the words he used were, the chance to decline. In other words, he wasn't fully on board with the idea himself. If I showed him even the tiniest hint of hesitation, he would change his mind and shut the door in their faces. Of course, I didn't resent my parents for this. It was by their grace alone that they were even having this conversation to begin with. We were having, sorry. But it was then that I understood. Only I could save them. So I looked my father in the eye with steadfast determination. I'm fine with it. First, we proposed our idea to the eldest son, Cinderella. But Cinderella refused. My father and I didn't understand why. Admittedly, perhaps, it was unreasonable to expect them to agree to join our family when they barely knew us. They weren't children, after all. They were grown adults with their own agency. That being said, however, they weren't strong enough to live on their own. Internally, I started to panic. I'd only just met the brothers, but at this rate, I'd be torn apart from them. Right around then, my brother finally spoke up for the first time, suggesting the brothers look after me, as my fiancés. I was utterly thrown for a loop. My brother and I have lived apart ever since I was young, so he didn't feel much like family. He didn't seem comfortable around me either, so I never imagined he would try to help me. Maybe he's the one that sends them. Just fucking marry one already. Later, I would learn that he was trying to help the brothers, not me. Apparently, he was closely acquainted with Snow White, who wasn't present at the time. Kind of was in Snow White's route, I'm just saying. And since Cinderella already trusted my brother a great deal, he agreed to the proposal. So my brother forced 5 fiancés on me, and now someone's pissed that I won't marry. Well, I mean, like, why would I marry one of them when I have 5? All right. It's like a bad deal. I'll trade you 5 for 1? What the hell? Like, wizard, I'm going to still have 5 boyfriends and 1 husband. It's going to be cool. Like, I love this. And so my 5 fiancés and I started our new life together in a mansion my parents owned. I can't believe we're actually getting a harem. It's amazing. It's not going to end that way. But I appreciate the thought, game. I appreciate it. Because nobody else does this. Well, I'm only allowed to have 1 boyfriend. Well, my man harem is getting full. And we're equal opportunity here, okay? We lived happily ever after. If only that were actually the case. While we were now engaged, we still didn't know each other very well, and in the beginning things were tense. I had heard a lot about them from my brother, but when I actually met them in person, they were nothing like what I expected. But here's the funny thing is, you propose that to Cinderella, who's like, oh, okay. But then Red Riding Hood gets a nosebleed if he just thinks about long hair. Okay, so like, I'm pretty sure he would not have agreed to this. Gretel would, because he's a creepy pervert. Kaguya probably would. And Snow White's like, does she come with books? Like, their ages, hobbies, and interests all varied wildly. And now I was expected to share my home with them, so it was kind of a lot. But it's funny because I was expected to share my home with them. But this is what you wanted. So like, obviously I like them all very much, but I wasn't in love with them. However, if I was going to live with them, then I wanted us all to get along. So I actively reached out to them. I adapted myself to their interests and preferences. Also, they would like me. It was like every other round in the game. And I took steps to ensure that they'd feel comfortable. I wanted to be the one person who understood them most. And for their part, they appeared to like me too. Once I was comfortable in my new home in the countryside, it was time to start thinking about college. Naturally, there weren't a ton of options out here, so I defaulted to the nearest one. Ideally, I would have liked for all 6 of us to attend the same school, but we weren't on the same level GPA-wise. At first, I wasn't looking forward to college, but once I got settled in, it turned out to be pretty fun. And that was where I met my good friend Wolf. Wolf was the kind of guy who knew when to stand back and let someone else have the spotlight. If this was a work of fiction, he'd be the protagonist's supportive best friend. Game being self-aware. When I told him about my current situation, Wolf carefully positioned himself so he'd be able to step in and help me whenever I needed it. It was around then that Gretel started calling me sister out of respect. No, he's just got a sister fetish. My brother wasn't comfortable with it, but I didn't mind at all. Yeah, Ryoshi's like, I'm not comfortable with your fiancé calling you sister. Sister. Ugh. Like, I mean, Gretel has a weird fetish. Initially, my parents were worried about us all living together, but they quickly saw that there was nothing to fear. I mean, we're engaged. It's okay that we're having orgies. What? Nothing. It's not like that. We're not having orgies. They're brothers. That's gross. We just we rotate. Like, it's funny to joke about it, but like if you stop and think about it seriously, you're like, okay, no. Like, cuddling and everything, that's fine, but like, but like, just keep some of that other stuff away from me. Like, before long, they had to leave town on a business trip. They weren't eager to leave their only daughter behind, but they knew my brother was around. Besides, they had important jobs to do. While I was willing to drop everything for the sake of someone I cared about, they were not. And that's how I ended up living with my 5 fiancés in a mansion in the middle of nowhere. I had everything I needed. I was a healthy, active person, and I was good at household chores. Sure, some people might think it immoral for a young woman to share a roof with a bunch of young men, but our engagement was formally approved by my parents, and also, fuck society, man. Spacey's man harem. It's open for business. As far as I was concerned, no one had the right to judge me. Damn right! You don't have the right to judge me and my mental man harem. We just like our cuddle parties, okay? I was happy. Yeah. Arisu! Arisu. Oh, we're gonna have to say that. Miss Arisu. Puppet. Kaguya. Sister. Just have to make it sound creepy as possible. The more time we spent together, the more I grew to love them. Not out of pity or charity. I genuinely fell for them. I just love that this is like a harem. But it makes me sad, because, like, wizard, but I want to be with you, but could you join the man harem? Do we get to keep everybody in this route? Because I'd feel bad for the wizard that, like, we don't, like, he has to join the man harem, he doesn't get his own. But I do want a harem, so, like, I'm just saying. In fact, I was willing to die for them. Maybe that was merely an emotional exaggeration. But my passion was white hot, burning me from the inside out. I was so sure I knew everything about them. But that was my hubris. While they looked stable at first glance, they were all carrying deep emotional scars that could detonate at the slightest touch. But even then, maybe time, if there was enough of it, could have healed those wounds. Is Ryoshi a doctor of the mind? Are we like a mental patient, maybe? And he's like listening to our crazy stories and like, all right, come on, get to the truth. All right, now you got a man harem. Okay, so you're progressing, sorta. Eventually you're gonna be like, oh my god, it was all just in my head. You know, and I want to go back to my fantasy world. Unfortunately, time was one thing they didn't have. One body, one soul. My love couldn't be divided. And so I'd have to choose. My love couldn't be divided, and I have to choose. No, that's not how a man harem works. Game, damn it. A private detective? Yeah. There we were in the living room of the Orisu estate, having a heated argument. How did this happen, you ask? Well, it all started when I received a certain letter in the mail this morning. The envelope bore only my name, no return address. And when I opened it, I found a letter that read something like, maybe we sent the letter. Choose one of the 5 brothers to be your future husband by the next full moon, or I'll kill you. Spelled out in cut-out letters. Alas, I was kind of hoping it would be a love letter. If this person is serious, then they're going to try to murder me on the next full moon. So I'm going to have a detective track down the culprit. It's probably us. That'd be kind of funny. That would be a fun twist. I explained to myself in a calm voice. I get that, but I rely on some skis ball. Well, despite my best intentions, everyone else seemed to see it as a bad move. Apparently, they had an innate distrust of detectives. No surprise there, I suppose. The brothers were all very private people to some extent or another. Cinderella's right. As a police officer, I believe I have the situation under control. I shall protect you myself. Even Red Riding Hood was opposed to the idea. But Red... Starting today, I shall place you under 24-hour surveillance, which is very much like Red Riding Hood's route. He informed me with a perfectly straight face. He tilted his head like he honestly didn't know why the whole room had gone silent. 24-hour surveillance? Really? So you're going to spy on her while she does you-know-what? Perv. Snow White and Gretel shot him withering looks while Kaguya smiled stiffly. No, of course not! Blushing, Red shook his head and waved his hand in front of his face. Well, considering Red's not exactly Officer of the Year, I guess I can see why you'd turn to an outside source for help. But why a private eye of all things? Doesn't that just scream fishy to you? Cinderella slammed his hands on the table. I don't think we can make such sweeping generalizations about an entire field. Once again, I offered my rebuttal calmly. I knew they liked to keep to themselves, but it wasn't right to make such harsh assumptions about someone they'd never even met. Besides, they didn't have a say in this. I had already sent my brother to visit an agency on my behalf. At this stage, there was no going back. After all, the detective was already on his way here as we spoke. Well, I don't think there's any harm in hiring a professional third party. After a moment, Snow White reluctantly backed me up. And why is that? Because if this blackmail is legit, chances are high that one of us sent it. Backed me up? Right over a cliff by the looks of it. Amnesia memories, anyone? I suppose that does make the most sense. Yeah. Then Gretel and Kaguya piped up at last, fixing me with accusatory looks. Everyone was ganging up on me, and I was starting to feel the pressure. Perhaps Snow White sensed this because he fanned the flames even harder. Anyone who sends a blackmail letter has to have a motive. Even something as simple as money. There must be something in it for them, or else they wouldn't even bother. And the letter you received is commanding you to choose one of us, once and for all. So if you think about who would stand to gain from that, well, it's us. Because we're all in love with you. Aw, this is my harem, I love it. And that's why you've chosen to help. That's why you've chosen to seek help from an unaffiliated third party, correct? Well, I faltered. The room was so rowdy just moments before, but now you could practically hear a pin drop. Now they hate me. Snow White had sown the seeds of suspicion in the minds of every single person here. An eternity seemed to pass as the suffocating fog of paranoia hung over us. Then the doorbell rang, breaking the silence at last. You're like, I hope he gets here soon. Oh! It sounds like someone's here. Red rose from his chair. I'll get it! I stopped him, then hurried out of the living room. After all, it'd be rude to keep our visitor waiting. But then again, maybe I just wanted an excuse to get out of there as fast as possible. Hello, Lady Arisu, are you there? The visitor called for me in a crisp voice that cut through the evening air. Who is it? Obviously, there could only be one person who would visit me at a time like this. But it never hurts to double-check. Who knows, maybe it's the culprit here to stab me the moment I open the door! Foreshadowing, maybe? I'm from Black Cat Investigations. Your brother asked me to meet with you. I unlocked the front door and opened it. Come on in. I love him so much. Thank you kindly. On the other side was a man in a suit. He inclined his head politely. His reddish-brown hair and amber eyes afforded him a gentle air that put me at ease. Somehow I just knew it was safe to trust him. I've been waiting for you, Detective. My name is Spacey. Why, thank you for the polite introduction, my lovely lady. I'm known as the Wizard. He reached out for a handshake. The Wizard? Puzzled, I tentatively clasped his hand in return. Funny name, isn't it? I get that a lot. That's not a name at all. It's just a job title. But I kept this catty quip to myself. It's funny that he's just Wizard. He doesn't have a name. If he wanted to introduce himself as the Wizard, that was his prerogative. Now then, I'd like to hear more about this potential case. Oh, of course. Follow me, Mr. Wizard. I led him to the living room. Instantly, the 5 brothers all turned to look at us. Kaguya, it's okay. I still love you too. I mean, I kind of love all of you. I mean, no offense, Snow White. You're my least favorite, but, you know. You and Alice. Just because you have the adorable lolly boy face. But Snow White's route was really good. But Snow and Alice are my least favorites, but like Wizard and Kaguya are my top 2. But I do really like Cinderella too. And Red Riding Hood and Gretel are pretty good. You know what? I'm happy keeping the man harem. It's fine. Let's just keep everybody in the man harem. None of them look very happy to see our visitor. Some less so than others. Well. Not exactly a warm welcome, I see. The Wizard smiled awkwardly. Oh, that's me. Please, have a seat. I led him to the sofa, then turned in the direction of the kitchen. But before I could move a muscle... I thought I clicked, but not. Sister, I can make the tea. Gretel rose to his feet. He eyed the Wizard next to me with deep suspicion. You're Gretel, yes? I hear you're the youngest son, and you've lived with Spacey your whole life. Straight A college student, right? The Wizard seemed to know a lot about Gretel. He must have done a background check of some kind. Clearly you did your homework. Oh no, this is all basic information. I thought I'd save us all some time by doing a little independent research in advance. Gee, thanks. With that, Gretel walked off to the kitchen as if to suggest he couldn't possibly care less. Once he was gone, the Wizard plunked himself down in the newly vacated chair. And now then, why don't we all have a chat? As he spoke, he held up the blackmail letter that had sent off this entire chain of events. Right. I sat on the sofa and looked at the table. There were now 2 identical letters lying there. One was the real blackmail letter, and the other was a copy I had given my brother. As you're all aware, I found this letter in our mailbox just this very morning. Right, I took a look at it myself. Quite the unusual blackmail, don't you think? Yeah. Do you have any idea who might have sent it? I paused to think for a moment, but ultimately shook my head. No. Anyone else have any ideas? No, we don't. No, we don't. That's better. Cinderella spoke as if on behalf of his brothers. I see. The wizard crossed his legs and folded his arms. He carried himself like a confident, competent man. Mr. Wizard, I'd like you to find out who sent this to me. But of course. That's why I'm here, is it not? He smiled brightly. Oh, he's so beautiful. That said, were you to make things official with one of the 5 brothers, it appears the crisis would be entirely averted. What exactly is the culprit after, I wonder? His smile didn't waver, but his gaze wandered probingly. Cinderella seemed to sense this because he let out a long sigh. Let me guess. You think it's one of us, right? My heart ached as though the crime was my own. After all, I was the one who had summoned a detective to investigate them. Well now, if it isn't the eldest son, Cinderella, why would you accuse me of such a thing? I never said one word to that effect. Or do you have someone in particular in mind, perhaps? At this, Cinderella fell silent. Not for a lack of anything to say, however. This was a purposeful silence. But the wizard simply ignored him and carried on. Would you happen to be Red Riding Hood, the 3rd son? Yes. I understand you're a police officer. If you're here, then why would anyone need to resort to a private detective? I said the same thing myself, but... Your fiancé turned to me instead, suggesting she can't trust the cops, perhaps? After Red Riding Hood fell silent, the wizard turned the spotlight on Kaguya beside him. Which would make you Kaguya, the 4th son. I see now the rumors were true. You have quite the unusual fashion sense. You think so? After seeing how the previous 2 conversations went, Kaguya was, unsurprisingly, on guard. Right here, I'm just going to stand right in the middle of this, and this is my little man sandwich, and I love it. Not to suggest it looks bad, of course. Is that your everyday attire? Yeah? Kaguya looked confused by the question. I see. So if you were to wear something more commonplace, you could avoid drawing attention to yourself. What appeared at first glance to be a mere curveball had now struck Kaguya square in the face. What? What's that supposed to mean? You reckon I did it then? Kaguya's usual laid-back veneer was threatening to slip. No! This is all purely hypothetical, of course. What's there to hypothesize about? But the wizard gracefully ignored his retort. Ah, and you must be the 2nd son, Snow White. You're very pretty indeed. Watch it! You're playing with fire! Specifically, Snow White did not take kindly to people describing his appearance as pretty or cute. He's so angry right now, it's great. No college education, no current employment. In other words, you're a household helper who stays at home all day. Snow White turned away and refused to answer. He's a shut-in. Oh, did I perhaps offend you with my statement? If so, then I apologize. I have a bad habit of speaking with no filter. Silently, Snow White rose to his feet and left the living room altogether. Have you finished your interrogation, detective? Just then, Gretel walked back in, carrying a tray of teacups. With a gallant smile, he placed one on the table in front of the wizard. Why, how thoughtful. But before the wizard could pick it up, it disappeared in a blur. Gretel had snatched it away. His gallant smile was gone, replaced with a nasty sneer. Gretel! He was being unspeakably rude, but before I could scold him, the wizard raised a hand to stop me. Is the wizard going to come live with us? Because, like in Red Riding Hood's route, we needed protection, and Red Riding Hood, The smile on his face told me, I'll handle this. By the way, I hear you have a deep respect for your sister, Spacey. He quickly changed tact. Yes, that's true. What of it? Bird, it's going to be kind of hard to read the story with you in my face like this. He's up against my mouth, so if I'm muffled, it's because there's a bird in my face. Oh, I was just thinking you two seem like close siblings. But a little bird told me that affection might be getting a bit excessive. The smile vanished from Gretel's face. I love how the wizard is just antagonizing everybody. No surprise there, since the wizard had basically implicated him in the crime. Detective, do you like to drink your tea through osmosis? Beg pardon? Just wondering if I should dump this over your head. He raised the cup of tea he had snatched. No, I generally prefer my tea administered orally, thank you. Even the wizard couldn't shrug that one off. Good boy. In that case, I advise you to plug your mouth hole before you end up with third-degree burns. With a stiff smile, the wizard accepted the teacup from Gretel. From there, Gretel placed a teacup in front of everyone else, and we all had a lovely tea time. If only. If only the mood in the room wasn't quite so oppressive. This was perhaps asking a lot, however, given that the brothers were hardly inclined to trust the detective. Ultimately, I couldn't deny that this was all my fault. I was the one who had received the blackmail, and I was the one who had hired a detective. I couldn't even taste my tea. So, how much do you know about us, Mr. Wizard? Summoning all my courage, I broke the heavy silence. What do you mean? Based on the comments you've made, it sounds like you have an overall outline of each of us. Yes. Cinderella is the eldest, Snow White is the second son, Red Riding Hood is the third son, Kaguya is the fourth son, and Gretel is the youngest. All blood-related and all currently living in the Orisu estate. Each of the brothers is currently betrothed to you. Of course, you can only marry one of them, but you've yet to make a decision on that front. Is that about right? So you know everything! Yes, I suppose I might. For a moment, I stared down silently at the amber liquid in my cup. Then I felt a gaze on me and looked up, directly into a pair of equally amber eyes. You believe the culprit is someone close to you, correct? Well, my heart skipped a beat. It almost felt like he was accusing me. At this, the dam burst and the five brothers started to turn on each other. You know, Red Riding Hood. I seem to recall you vowing to protect sister, all by yourself. I'm not the culprit. Interesting that you're so flustered about it. It's not what you think. What about you, Kaguya? Why haven't you said a word this entire time? It's like Red Riding Hood gets flustered by everything. What? No, everyone's got so serious all of a sudden, that's all. It wasn't me. That's not his voice, wow. Why can't you keep a straight face when you say that? Now hang on, you lot. Don't you reckon it's a bit early to start calling me a criminal if that's your only evidence? I mean, think about it. I don't have a motive. I can't do Kaguya angry. I don't have a motive. None of us do. It's not his voice. What's happening? Anyway, none of us have a motive. How can you be so sure of that? Well, honestly, if anyone here has a motive, it'd be Gretel. What? Why me? I didn't mean to click and skip that, sorry. Why else? Because you have an unhealthy obsession with Orisu. He does. That's what you're worried about? I won't deny it. But do you really think someone who's obsessed with her would want her dead? You're the classic archetype. You know, like, if I can't have her, no one can, or whatever. Don't talk about me like I'm a yandere. If you're not a yandere, then what the hell are you? Just a pure psychopath? Will you stop the family feud? No, I'm just kidding. It's obviously yes. That's enough! The next thing I knew, I was shouting, Arisu! Sister! All eyes turned to me. I started to tremble. The room was toasty warm, yet somehow I was freezing. Because of me, the men I loved were now at each other's throats. I felt like a monster. The wizard rose to his feet and extended a hand in my direction. You don't look well, Lady Arisu. I think you should rest. I apologize. I took his hand, rose from the sofa, and hurried out of the room as if it were on fire. At the top of the stairs, I gazed out at the moon, peeking out from behind the clouds, and let out a small breath. I had about 5 days until the next full moon. We're really gonna fall in love with the wizard in 5 days? I figured it'd be like a month. Either I would need to choose one of the 5 brothers as my husband, or I'd have to hunt down the culprit and prevent him from harming me. I kept thinking and thinking, but I couldn't come to a decision. I let out another sigh. Lady Orisu. I turned in the direction of the stairs. There, I could see the wizard in the darkness, halfway up the staircase. How are you feeling? A lot better, thanks. I donned a peachy smile. Sorry for making a scene back there. Should we go back to the living room and continue the discussion, or would you rather call it a night? As I approached him, he suddenly grabbed me by the arm. Startled, I watched as he leaned in close to me and pressed his forehead to mine. Oh, hi, we're getting romantic real fast. Well, you don't appear to have a fever. He gazed into my eyes. What are you? Oh, now I'm feeling some heat. You all right? I'm fine. Fit as a fiddle, raring to go. I hastily pushed him away from me. Kind of adorable and cute. You're like, aw, but like, are we at this stage? I don't think we are, but like, I still love you. That's the spirit. He laughed cheerfully. Is he teasing me? He totally is, isn't he? I apologize for worrying you. I dropped the little act and let out a sigh. For some reason, it felt like he could see right through me. Oh, it's no trouble. Your fiancés are quite worried, however. Right. It seems they all care for you a great deal. Right. I smiled and nodded. I knew they cared. After all the time we'd spent together, it was plain to see. And I cared about them too. That was why I was having such a hard time with this. So, did you find any clues? Well, let's see. They all seem suspicious, but at the same time, they all seem innocent too. That's all I can say for now. In other words, no, I haven't found anything yet. I guess it'll take some time. The smile faded from my face, and I headed right back up the stairs again. Back at the landing, I spun around to face him. Mr. Wizard, to be quite honest with you, I don't care one whit whether I live or die. What truly pains me is that this crisis is destroying their family. I regret ever letting it come to this. Part of me wishes I'd simply thrown the letter away. I poured my heart out to him. Even then, the brothers would have started fighting over you sooner or later. I suppose you could say that today just so happens to be the day the other shoe dropped. He spoke as though we were all-knowing. I mean, he is the wizard. What should I do? This whole thing would be solved pretty quick if you picked someone. You made it sound so easy. I get that. Really, I do. But I love all of them. I can't possibly choose just one. See, this is like the harem problem. But now someone's gonna kill me because I want my harem? Like, rude. Men get their harem. Why can't a woman have her harem? God, so sexist. Rationally speaking, I was being incredibly self-centered and cruel. Hey! If they're okay with the man harem, we're okay. That's why conversation. Guys, I love all of you. Are you okay with being in a man harem? Because if you're not okay with sharing me, feel free to leave. But this is the way it goes. And if they don't want to be here, they're free to leave and go on their merry way. And we'll miss them and it'll be sad, but we respect them. But if they want to be with me and they're okay with sharing, then here we are, a happy ending. Jesus. I was acting as though my feelings were the only ones that mattered. You know what's really funny about this? Is they're putting this in, oh, like, she's got a harem, and, like, I'm so self-centered, and my feelings are the only ones that matter, and, like, oh my god, I'm such a selfish, horrible person for having a man harem. And yet, I don't think in any game where the MC is a dude and he's got a harem and he's fucking all the girls, they ever consider or make him feel self-centered or selfish, only thinking of his own feelings. Like, yeah, I'm nailing all these chicks, yo. But, like, when it's a woman doing it, it's like, oh, I'm so self-centered. I'm not awful. Again, no. There's poly relationships out there. And just because our husbandos are all brothers and they're not getting it on with each other, because that's weird and creepy. Like, I mean, they could be bisexual. That's fine. But, like, your brothers, that's a line that we shouldn't cross. But, like, doesn't mean that they can't be, like, happy sharing one lady. But, like, why is it gotta be like, oh, women are so awful and selfish that you can't just give yourself to one man? But a guy is like, yeah, I got so much, man, I gotta spread it around. It's so fucking, it is kind of sexist and bullshit. I mean, it really fucking is. And yes, I can understand it's selfish to be like, all the men, all for me, without considering their feelings. But it's the same way if you're a man and all the ladies for me without considering their feelings. But we have to infer that in this situation, we are like, so I'm engaged to all of you and I love all of you and I want you all to be happy. Are you cool with this? And if they're like, yeah, no, sure, I don't mind sharing. Fine, whatevs. Then cool, we had a conversation and it's not selfish. If they're like, no, you have to pick one of us, then us not choosing and trying to prolong it is a little selfish. I get it, but, you know, in my happy man harem, they're all perfectly fine with the situation. We've had conversations. You come to the man harem as long as you're okay with it. You're okay with the sharing and that I love all of you? Okay, that's great. I'm happy. It's okay. It's just conversation. It's a little selfish, but it's like, okay. It's okay to be selfish because they know I'm being selfish and they're being selfish too, so it's fine. I knew I was being selfish and procrastinating on my problems. Yeah, the procrastinating, yes, but right now I wanted to maintain the status quo. It was a quiet night. In the absence of our voices, there were no sounds to be heard. Maybe he didn't know what to say. After all, he barely knew me. And while I was indeed his client, it didn't mean he wanted to hear my entire life story. I tried to think of some way to change the subject. Allow me to cast a spell upon you. Then out of nowhere, the wizard made me an unusual offer. A spell? As in, a magic spell? Yes, of course. I am a wizard after all. I love that he is winking at me. He shot me a wink. His hand looks awkward as fuck, though. I thought you were a detective. Alas, that's only a disguise. My true form is that of a wizard, guiding lost sheep through the darkness to their proper path. He reached behind his back and pulled out an oversized wizard hat. What you see here is a round red apple. Now I shall make that apple vanish without a trace. Next, he retrieved an apple from God knows where. Is this a magic trick? Sure, you could call it that. Just like that, he readily admitted it was just a magic trick. Are you supposed to use a top hat for this? With a deft hand, he showed me the inside of his empty hat, as if to say, no tricks, no gimmicks. Then he pointed the hole toward the ceiling and held the apple over it. Once he was ready, he closed his eyes and began to recite an incantation in the direction of the apple. Errant fruit of Eden, return thyself to thy proper place. Ringo, Ringo, Apfel, Manzana, Jabuka? Jabuka? Go! Ringo, Ringo is apple. Apfel sounds like you're pronouncing apple wrong. I don't know what Manzana, Jabuka, go. Are those other words for apples in other languages? Is that Japanese? I don't know. I don't know those words. I know what Ringo is. And not just one of the Beatles. Shouting, he dropped the apple into the hat. There was a loud thud, as if it had collided with something hard. What was that? Don't worry about it. He smiled stiffly. Maybe this wasn't supposed to happen. Now then, take a look. You saw me drop the apple inside, but as you can see... He raised the hat with both hands to show me the inside. Sure enough, the apple was nowhere to be seen. However, the wizard's posture was somewhat unnatural. The way he suppressed the midsection of the hat made me suspicious. Maybe there was a mirror or a false bottom in there. Then again, all magic tricks required some sort of sleight of hand, and I didn't want to embarrass him by pointing it out. Bravo! So instead I applauded his efforts. I can't help but notice there was a really awkward pause just now. No, there wasn't. I smiled brightly. Thank you, Mr. Wizard. That was the first time anyone performed a magic trick for me, and I really enjoyed it. Non, this isn't the end, my lady. He wagged his index finger in my face. Huh? I regarded him dubiously. In response, he donned a meaningful smirk and reached into his hat. Now it's time for the tricky, gimmicky magic. Then he pulled out exactly 1/2 of an apple, neatly sliced. Now then, if I turn this so you can't see the cut, it appears to be a whole apple, see? But if I turn it 90 degrees horizontally, naturally since it's cut in half, It makes a half circle. Like the moon? Are you doing some moon magic with the apple? And then if I turn it another 90 degrees, you can barely see any red at all. We started with a round apple, but as we look at it from different angles, we start to see the bigger picture. As he spoke, he dropped the half apple back into his hat. Then he held it pointy side up. And like all things, it eventually disappears. Like the moon. You're like, it's a half moon, and then it becomes a full moon, like the white, and then it disappears, which would be a new moon. This is where the apple's story ends. This time he must have done the trick correctly, because there were no weird thudding noises, and the apple vanished without a sound. And that was the Wizard's Magic Show. Round of applause, everyone. He bowed deeply, and I clapped. Reminds me of the phases of the moon when you think about it. I mean, I think that's the point he was getting to, right? Yes, indeed. As well as a metaphor for your current predicament. Then he placed his hat upon my head. Right now, you can only see two futures. One where you die, or one where you start a family with one brother. I see. No, the future I see is the one with you, because I know where this is going. But with a little change in perspective, the whole world can look brand new. Your options are limitless, with dozens of branching paths. Not really. Dozens, but okay. Meaning, I mean exactly what I said. You mustn't lose yourself in the immediate questions of culprit or husband. You have to look at the bigger picture. Yes, you need a bird's eye view. What? I didn't understand what he was trying to tell me. Then he snickered. Gazing mournfully at the moon won't open any new doors for you, Spacey Arisu. In other words, stop throwing yourself a pity party and take action. In that case, can I ask a favor of you? What might that be? Could I accompany you on your investigation? This is so we fall in love with him. Oh, I love it. But of course. Oh. Okay, so this is where we're going to stop because we're over time because I rambled a bit. But anyway, so yeah. I'm enjoying this so far. I think it's interesting, but it's kind of weird that we're going to try to fall in love with him in like 5 days. I figured it would be like a month, but hey, it's the wizard and I love him. So anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.